Meeting ID 927-3180-4644. 927-3180-4644. There you go. Get it? Yeah, thanks. Sounds good. You ready? I'm ready. Okay, you ready to go, Peter? You good? Okay. Okay, let's get started. Good evening, everyone. It's the Elbert County Planning Commission. It is okay, May 4th. Leave the time. What do we have? 7:08. A little late. Okay, we can get started. What we do, we'll call this meeting to order. We'll start with a prayer and a pledge. So if everyone could please stand.
Our Heavenly Father, we give thanks for the opportunity to be here to conduct the county's business. We ask that you bless all in attendance and that we have the wisdom to make the right decisions and the ears to hear the truth. In His name, amen.
Amen. Roger, lead us.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Christina, could we roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Danny Wilcox,
Here.
Van Sands,
Here.
Dwayne Owens, Peter Hogendijk,
Present.
Dan Mahalik. Still not on? Okay. Jason Vermillion,
Here.
Justin Clausen, Jeff Branken, and Roger Burton.
Here.
That's 5.
So we have 5. We have a quorum. All right. Next step, staff report. Christina, do you have anything?
No, sir, I don't have any items. I think the only thing that was on the last BOCC was a variance that was before them as a Board of Adjustments. I believe it was a fairly minor item and was approved.
All right. Thank you. Next, if you notice in your agenda, this is citizen comment section. Now, these are citizen comments unrelated to anything that's on an application that's present tonight. So if there's any other comments unrelated to the application tonight? Seeing none? All right. Meeting minutes, I think, Christina, you said we're waiting for.
Correct, sir. I did not get those completed. They will be on the next agenda. So the next agenda will have the minutes from the previous meeting as well as tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to go into our public hearing process. I think we have one, we have the Miller Ranch filing tonight. I don't know where that's going to be. I don't know if they're planning on continuing that or what, but let me go through the process. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission, this board up here, the quasi judicial group, volunteer group. What we do, we essentially we judge the application based on the codes and ordinances that are in the county, that are written. We don't have the authority to make changes or amend anything. Three options we have in an application is we can approve the application, we can deny the application, or we can approve it with conditions. Now, when I state approve, what I mean, what we're doing, we're approving the application to go forward to the Board of County Commissioners. That's our step. We're the citizen group that looks over the application, approves it to go forward, like I said, approve, deny, or with other conditions. So the hearing goes as such. It starts out, our staff will present the application. Then I'll ask the applicant to present their part of it. At that time, I'll ask for public testimony or questions. I'll close public comment. After that, then what I'll try to do is take what I gathered in public comment and see if I can get answers through it, working with the applicant or staff. After that, we'll go to board discussion. The Planning Commission will entertain questions and end up discussing the application. We'll close that, then we'll vote on it. So with that, we have one application on hand tonight. It's the Miller Ranch. Can you tell us?
Yes, thank you, Danny.
Greg, thank you.
Staff and the county attorney had a productive meeting last week with the applicant to discuss the service plan, updating that, as well as public improvements and updating the project. With that, I will open it up to CJ Kirst. Thank you.
Hey, good evening, Commissioners. CJ Kirst, Tahoe Consulting, 5730 East Otero Avenue, Suite 200, Centennial, Colorado, 80112. I'm here tonight representing the property owners as the applicant on this filing two and filing three plat. As Greg mentioned, we did have a meeting with staff and the county attorney last week. You might recall we continued this hearing as a result of some last minute information that we had gotten the day of the originally scheduled planning commission, indicating that the application was not complete. And at the time, we were under the impression that the items that weren't complete were an update to the service plan, since that was originally prepared and approved with filing 1 year ago, and then the possibility of an update or a creation of a development guide agreement. Those were the two topics that were primarily discussed last week. There's been conversation, obviously, since our hearing and last week's meeting, but the meeting was called to really try to address all the items and make sure everybody was on the same page with how to resolve them. As a result of the meeting, we agreed that the service plan would be updated with some more current figures. There were a couple items that had not been included previously in the engineer's estimate within the subdivision improvement agreement. One of them has to do with an offsite intersection, and the other had to do with a the community center. Um, we are working right now on getting figures for the offsite intersection and some a scope of what that community center will include. And our service plan is being updated as well. Right now, the plan is for us to make a submittal to the county a week from this Friday, which would be May 14th, for those items. That timeline, or let me back up, what we learned from that meeting from the county attorney was that he wants to have the service plan amendment approved before we can take the filing 2 and 3 plats forward again. And so the timing and the process for the service plan amendment, we expect that will likely last through a better portion of the summer. And as soon as we get this officially to the Board of County Commissioners for approval, we are then able to set dates for the filing 2 and filing 3 plat. So with all that said, we are going to proceed with getting the service plan amendment approved. And thereafter, we will establish new dates for the filing 2 and filing 3 plat and post and publish and come before you, hoping for late summer is when we expect the filing 2 and filing 3 plat to come before you. But the service plan amendment will come before you prior to that.
Okay. So essentially, you're asking for a continuance to an unknown date, correct?
More or less what I believe, and maybe Greg or Christina can speak to this, is I don't know that it qualifies as a continuance. We are keeping the applications active. We'll continue to keep the county up to speed as to where we are so that they understand that. But we don't have a date right now because it is dependent on the service plans being approved.
Okay. So where we're at is, Christina, if you could go over really the Planning Commission, we don't have a role at this point because the application has not been presented to us. So if that application had been presented, then we have a timeline by policy that we have to comply with, and I think it's 3 months.
Correct. There's a 90-day time limit, or the 3 months from whenever the application is presented that an item can be continued.
Right.
But this application has not ever
Never
been
been-
formally presented. And the situation that they're in is kind of a catch-22, and they're asking not really to be continued, but that they plan to renotice once they get their ducks in a row and get their service plan where it needs to be, and get that part through and kind of start over the public hearing process for filings 2 and 3 plats.
So he'll go back and renotice everything. And then the first step we'll see is the service plan come before us.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So really, we don't need a vote on this then, you guys, we don't have to, because it really hasn't even come to us. So at this point, they're working with the county, and when they come forward, all right. So folks, does everybody kind of understand where this is? If you could, actually just, what's your name? You live on Timber Ridge Drive? Okay, what's your question?
So my question is for these meetings, and I know this isn't a continuance that they're asking for, but I wanted to know what the rule is for posting signage, because I saw the original sign in March, but then nothing
Okay.
again for today's meeting. And then I'm just concerned that the next meeting, it won't be posted again, and that there was no,
It'll have to be posted prior to the meeting, and all timelines will have to be met.
so there was supposed to be one posted for today where they posted the last
No,
yellow one?
This was a continuance from the initial posting.
But don't you have,
This meeting-
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
This meeting was continued from, and I do not remember the date.
March 16th, I believe.
Yeah, a couple meetings ago was posted. Then what we did was continue it. It doesn't require a reposting. And it's just, you follow it through the process. It was continued to this day. Yes.
But the next one will
The
have
next one will
something,
require a full posting, and you will see a new sign. You will, and anybody adjacent, I believe mailings have to go out also.
okay. And one more follow-up question to the same thing. Do you have to post it on both entrances where they're planning on coming in and out? Because I never,
Staff, Christina? Greg?
They're really only required one sign, but it's a courtesy to post two.
so, okay, so on 29, since there was only one on 154, it's, you're saying it's okay that they don't put one on 29?
Yes, CJ, the request would be to post two signs, if you would, please.
Correct, thank you.
We'll post however many signs the county prepares, because we
Okay.
use
All
the
right.
county
You
signs.
Thank you.
154. Here's 154 is right here. 29 is this where we're supposed to go. There's a posting right there, and there's going to be a posting. Right there. I don't think so. No. I'll tell you more about that. Yeah. All right, folks. So at this time, it's kind of over, and it sounds like it's going to be a while. It sounds like they'll end up working with the county on the service plan, which the service plan is essentially the funding process for everything that has to be developed within there, offsite improvements, road, everything else. That's what they're going to be working with. So again, as you brought up, it will be noticed, the signs will go up, and this meeting will occur, but at the first meeting, we'll be discussing the service plan. Not the plat, just the service plan. So, okay. Is it something, okay, go ahead.
Yes, we have property right adjacent to the northern boundary of a portion of filing 2. And looking at the plat online, I saw an easement there. Is there anybody here tonight, or when can we find out what that easement for? It comes up.
You know what? If you have a question to that, what I would suggest is you meet with CDS,
Meet with who?
Community Development Services, and go to the county and check, because they can describe what that is and they can show you and give you some information on that.
Okay, all right.
We don't have
I'll
it,
do that. Okay, fine, thank you.
okay? And CDS is at the county building. Okay? Right down here on, yep. Okay? You bet. All right, with that, what we'll do, we can close the meeting because I don't think we have anything else.
Danny, you got somebody with a hand up in the Zoom audience.
Okay,
Hi, my name is Erica Brown. I'm the Vice President of the Brittany Ridge Estates subdivision across the street from the Miller Ranch subdivision. Just wanted to clarify who notices were sent to, and is there a requirement for a certain
you know, that information,
come
what I would suggest, here's what you need to do. Contact Community Development Services at the county, and they can give you essentially who all the notices were sent to, when, where. They have record of that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
Is there a mailing list that we can get on for future
Again,
notices?
if you contact community CDS in the county, I believe they can answer everything you need.
Okay, thank you.
And Danny, real quick to follow up, it's 1,320 feet of the property boundary. All properties within that radius.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you, Greg. So, at this time? Okay, sir, go ahead.
Since everything's being referred to the community development, whatever, can they be at the next meeting?
They're here.
We're right here.
That's, the question would be to you, these mailings, they used to go out certified mail, is that required anymore?
No, they don't need to be sent certified.
How do you know if these mailings went out or received by the parties?
The applicant signs an affidavit of mailing.
So at this time, we don't have the application at this point, and we're not in a position to really discuss things. So if you have questions regarding the application or surrounding areas, please present your questions to the Community Development Services in Elbert. Thank you. Okay, I think we have a motion. Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, folks, thank you. Sorry it got continued again. We'll be back.